With 7 best-selling books and 8 movies so successful they have the highest box office gross of any franchise in the history of cinema, Harry Potter stands as one of the biggest media series of all time. And with author J.K. Rowling continuing to publish short stories expanding on the world and a new franchise in Fantastic Beasts currently ongoing, it's fair to say it's not over yet. But those books couldn't be copied over wholesale. Some were 10,976 pages long, so stuff had to be cut. Occasionally it was minuscule and inoffensive, but sometimes it was inexcusable. I'm Ben from Whatculture, and here are 10 changes from the books that ruined the Harry Potter movies. Number 10. Grindelwald and Dumbledore's Past. Oddly, despite being a 2-part film, some key elements were still overlooked in the Deathly Hallows. In the book, we learn about Gellert Grindelwald, a dark wizard almost as powerful as Voldemort, who had been friends with a young Dumbledore before an altercation led to the death of Albus's sister, Ariana. Eventually defeated by the future headmaster, but not before rallying an army behind him, Grindelwald's story gave the reader their first proper glimpse into the tortured past of Albus Dumbledore. In the film, Grindelwald merely appears out of obligation, an obstacle between Voldemort and the Elder Wand, and of little significance to the plot. It's being expanded on in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, but it was a real missed opportunity here. Number 9. Peeves. Peeves the Poltergeist is present in all 7 books, throughout which he is always wreaking havoc. A more jovial side of the universe, his appearances provide a change of pace to events. Intended to be in The Philosopher's Stone and portrayed by the late Rick Mayall, the character was cut in post-production and was never thought of again as the series progressed. In what many view as an attempt to spite and challenge the filmmakers, J.K. Rowling increased the ghost's prominence in the plot, having him be essential in Fred and George's departure from Hogwarts. Still, the movies never yielded, always finding a way around his inclusion. Number 8. The First Battle of Hogwarts. We'll expand on the biggest omission later, but for now, let's look at the finale of The Half-Blood Prince. The book ends with Harry and an injured Dumbledore returning to Hogwarts and what they believe is one of Voldemort's Horcruxes, only to find the school has been secretly invaded by Death Eaters. Oh no. In a shocking twist, Snape kills the headmaster and all hell breaks loose as wizards fight through the halls of the school. The film brings to the big screen all of the plot, but none of the battle. The closest it gets is Bellatrix smashing glasses in the Great Hall, which is a bit rubbish. Sidestepping a massive fight may allow the film to quickly get back to the dead Dumbledore, but it all feels a little anticlimactic. Number 7. Explosive Deaths. A strange new thing Deathly Hallows Part 2 boasted over Part 1 was a new method of death: exploding. There's all manner of murder throughout the series, but the most peculiar and unexplained is the sudden tendency for big villains to disappear in puffs of dead skin. Aside from being a confusing and poorly executed visual effect, this late-in-the-day style choice had a negative effect on the film's tone. In the final book, the dead Voldemort is plainly described as Tom Riddle, the usage of his pre-Dark Lord name cementing how the evil is defeated. It would have been exciting to see this visually invoked, but instead we get his bizarre disintegration. Number 6. The Prophecy. The driving force of the Order of the Phoenix, the prophecy foretold of a child who would be capable of defeating Voldemort, a boy born at the end of July to parents who have thrice defied the Dark Lord, is really bloody important, but it comes with a caveat that Voldemort didn't know. He chooses his adversary. You see, not only Harry, but also Neville Longbottom fit that description, with Voldemort unknowingly capable of deciding who his opponent could be. It's only going to Godric's Hollow that seals his fate. The film discards the bulk of the Neville chat in favour of foreshadowing a big final showdown between the boy wizard and Big Bad, and that's good in the broad sense of the series, but ultimately leaves Order of the Phoenix feeling a lot like another film all about setup. Number 5. A shift away from lessons. The first 3 Harry Potter films all prominently showcased Harry attending lessons. The Goblet of Fire changed that, not only making Voldemort a real and tangible threat, but also shifting the focus of the body of the story away from the usual rigmarole of lessons. This is pushed to the extreme in the film adaptation, where we only see one class from the entire year at Hogwarts, Barty Crouch Jr. as Mad-Eye Moody teaching about the dark arts, a scene that is completely essential to the plot. From this film onwards, lessons only ever appeared if they were totally essential to the plot later on, making the fact that Hogwarts is a school little more than a chance for a big exposition dump. Number 4. The Finale. The final battle between Harry and Voldemort isn't really a battle at all. Right from the off, Harry knows he's won. In the backdrop of the Great Hall with the rest of the wizards watching, he reveals to Voldemort that the Elder Wand really belongs to him and that any fight would result in the Dark Lord's defeat. The finale isn't just a case of who can swing their wand the fastest. The film portrays it a little differently, with a lot of whiz-bang action followed by a rushed attempt to explain what just happened and that's it. The film even transplants the action to a deserted courtyard, which only serves to make it even less impressive. How can you split a book in two to give focus to everything, then skim over the most important part? Number 3. Lily's eyes. In the film, Harry's realization that Snape was in love with his mother all along was an emotional twist, but it also completely undid one of the series' essential running themes: young Lily has the wrong colour eyes. That Harry has his mother's eyes was something commented on by all manner of characters throughout the series, and is one of the biggest clues that Rowling knew the major story beats of her narrative from the very beginning. But at some point in the films, it got messed up. Daniel Radcliffe, blue-eyed in real life, didn't wear contacts to turn his eyes green for the role because ramming things into children's eyes isn't okay, even in Hollywood. And that's fair enough. But then when young Lily was cast in the Deathly Hallows, they chose an actress with brown eyes. Come on. Number 2. Forgetting Dobby for 4 movies. To be fair to David Yates, he did a serviceable job in creating the illusion that the Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2 were standalone entries. It's not perfect though, and that's most noticeable at the end of Part 1, which climaxes with the death of Dobby. You know, Dobby, that character who provided comic relief in that film almost a decade ago and hadn't been mentioned since. If the previous films had been clever, however, we could have spent much more time with Dobby. In the novels, The Goblet of Fire boasted a major subplot about the welfare of elves, while in The Order of the Phoenix, it's him who tells Harry about the Room of Requirement. Number 1. Tom Riddle's backstory. Half-Blood Prince gave us Tom Riddle's backstory, showing how Voldemort became the ultimate evil. So imagine our excitement when the film version looked ready to fully commit to it. The trailers put great focus on delving into Riddle's past, and it ended up being just 2 scenes. One with a young Tom already very evil, and another that had to be included to fill everyone in on the whole deal with Horcruxes. Aside from these 2 fleeting flashbacks, there's no explanation put into just who Tom Riddle really is. And that's our list. Make sure you subscribe to the Whatculture YouTube channel for more lists like this, and don't forget to visit whatculture.com for daily news and articles. I'm Ben from Whatculture, and thanks for watching.